The rainy season has intensified, though the island has been fortunate to have not experienced a major tropical system thus far. We must be prepared because there's no guarantee we will be spared. Stock up on canned food and water, keep important documents in a safe location, and don't forget those necessary supplies of renewable energy powered items in case of an electricity outage. In the meantime, enjoy the showers. Catch some of the rainwater for the drought period. You can also do some planting. Minimal watering will be required. Hi there, I'm Adrian Atkinson and this is Jamaica Magazine. The news is on the other side of this message, so stay with us.
Water is precious. So we encourage everyone to practice the 4 R's of water conservation. Always remember to reduce your use of water wherever possible. Replace water wasting devices with water savings devices. Reuse water wherever possible. And wherever leaks are found, please repair them and repair them quickly.
Don't delay. Practice the 4 R's of water conservation today.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, September 10. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says ongoing states of public emergency SOEs implemented in several parishes across the island have been effective and are achieving success.
Within the spaces that we have the states of public emergency, and even outside of those spaces, we have been able to interdict, bring before the courts, prosecute, and have successful convictions. They are doing more community policing, and I want you to take a look, if you get a chance, at what is happening in Salt Spring. They are doing their search and recovery of firearms. They are doing public order operations on the streets of Montego Bay.
Mr. Holness says the government has been strategic and deliberate in its work to curb criminal activity in the country, particularly murders. This, he adds, is to reduce the murder rate to the regional average of homicide, which is 16 per 100,000. Prime Minister Holness indicates that progress is being made.
We have a 5-year strategic plan to do it. We are 1 year already into that 5-year plan, and we have moved our homicide rate per 100,000 from 61 per 100,000 to last year we're at 47 per 100,000. We are just about there now, but the objective is to further bring that down.
The Prime Minister was speaking at a press conference on Thursday where he announced SOEs for the parishes of Clarendon and St. Catherine. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is urging parents and guardians to keep a close watch on their children for signs of recruitment by gangs. Mr. Holness says gangs oftentimes present themselves as protectors of the community and as legitimate business owners helping persons in need.
You may not see it as recruitment, but they're done in your community, and I'm certain you know who they are. They see your son going to school, doesn't have proper shoes, doesn't have lunch money, and all of a sudden they are providing them with lunch money and clothes and bringing them to places. And before you know it, your son is sidetracked.
The Prime Minister says gangs are grooming persons in law-abiding careers, expecting that they will work for them.
Some of the criminal enterprises are so sophisticated that they look for the brightest, pay their school fee, and encourage them to join law enforcement, to become lawyers. That is the level of thinking that some of the criminals are doing now. They want to know the bright ones because they want them to help them with cyber crimes. The government isn't sitting down idly and not paying attention to these things.
Prime Minister Holness says continued work is being done to strengthen the intelligence capabilities of the security forces to counter this threat, adding that SOEs also create that space for better policing. He's encouraging members of the public to report gang and other criminal activities to the JDF tip line at 876-837-8888. The Cannabis Licensing Authority, CLA, has issued 44 ganja licenses and 288 conditional approvals since its establishment in 2015. Of the 44 licenses granted, 21 are for cultivation, 13 for retail, 6 for processing, 3 for research and development, and 1 for transportation. Licenses at the conditional approval stage are awaiting actions from applicants, such as measures for pre-license, site inspection requirements, and funding to satisfy infrastructure development and/or other approvals. President of the Jamaica Promotions Corporation, JAMPRO, Diane Edwards, says the CLA has received 658 applications from 287 applicants to date. She was speaking recently at the media launch of the CANEX Jamaica Business Conference and Expo. Ms. Edwards says the event is an ideal platform to bring together the business side of the cannabis industry.
Medical cannabis is still a disruptor in the consumer goods space. More and more, we are seeing CBD-infused products take consumers by storm globally in packaged food, beverages, beauty and personal care products, and consumer health products. As the industry evolves, understanding the future and placing the appropriate bets will determine the ultimate winners in this expanding and dynamic space.
The Women's Centre of Jamaica Foundation is increasing its classes from 4 to 5 days per week and adding 3 new subjects this academic year. The new subjects are English Literature, Principles of Business, and Civics. Dr. Zoe Simpson, Executive Director of the Women's Centre, shared that at a JIS think tank on Friday. Dr. Simpson says the changes to a full week of classes and the additional subjects are to better prepare adolescent mothers to return to the formal school system.
So whatever the other girls in the formal school system, in the society, are benefiting from, whatever activities, the girls, the adolescent mothers must also benefit from those activities.
The Women's Centre program for adolescent mothers, established in 1978, provides continuing education for teenaged mothers who have dropped out of the formal school system. It also facilitates the return of the girls to the formal school system after the birth of their babies. And finally, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is urging Jamaicans who are not able to contact family members or friends living in the Bahamas, especially in Grand Bahama and Abaco, to call or WhatsApp its Consular Affairs Department at 876-472-3584. In a release, Portfolio Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith said persons can call 876-926-4220 extension 3346 during business hours to provide information so that officials can try to help them connect with loved ones. They will do this, she says, as that information becomes available through the different channels in the Bahamas. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Next, the latest happenings out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Enhanced security measures announced for Clarendon and St. Catherine. Disaster assistance response team deployed to the Bahamas, and electricity for St. Paul's Lane. You're tuned to Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Anthony Morgan. The safety and security of citizens took priority for Prime Minister Andrew Holness last week, which led him to declare a state of public emergency for Clarendon and St. Catherine. He explained that the strategy was to curtail criminal activities in these areas, particularly murders, which he said were mainly gang-related.
The government is not using the state of public emergency as a substitute for regular policing. What the state of emergency does is to provide a respite in the number of crimes, in particular murders, that are taking place. It helps to expand the number of law enforcement personnel that we have on the ground. It helps to restrict the free movement of the criminal enterprise. And then that gives regular policing an increased ability to do their work.
Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson said the murder rate for Clarendon had reached 100 since the start of the year. The St. Catherine South Police Division meanwhile recorded 91 murders, and there were 66 in the St. Catherine North Police Division. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness defended the effectiveness of the state of public emergency. He cited major reduction of murder in areas under the SOE, such as St. James, Westmoreland, Hanover, and St. Andrews South.
You will see from how we have operated that we have been very strategic and very deliberate in the things that we are doing. And it has had an effect, it has had an impact.
73 legal guns and 4,500 rounds of ammunition were also recovered in St. James since January. In response to the devastation caused by Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas, on Thursday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness deployed an advance response team to the country. On Saturday, Prime Minister Holness deployed the Disaster Assistance Response Team DART, comprising 120 Jamaica Defence Force soldiers. They were accompanied by 11 members of the Royal Canadian Air Force, which provided airlift support.
This DART team is prepared to assist generally in anything that the Bahamian government may need, for which we are equipped. But in the initial stages, the focus will be on recovery, logistics, if there is need for medical assistance, and any emergency engineering assistance.
Prime Minister Holness was in the St. Paul's Lane community on Wednesday for the commissioning of power line extension. Following the distribution of power lines, over 500 residents in the St. Andrew West Central community will benefit from the re-electrification of their homes.
Some of you have built homes there where the wiring is not up to standard to take the JPS electricity. And we have made provisions to assist those households to rewire, to bring your electrical wiring up to standard so that you can genuinely take the JPS electricity supply.
The project was financed through the Constituency Development Fund and the National Energy Solution, NESOL. Mr. Holness said the regularization of electricity is part of a greater development plan for the area to regularize informal development.
We're going to build housing solutions equivalent or better to what you have. And we will find a way to make sure that you can afford those housing solutions by respecting and acknowledging the equity. That means the value that you have already put down in block and steel in your community.
Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Darrell Vaz, met with representatives of the Bernard Lodge Enterprise team on Wednesday. The meeting also included the National Environment and Planning Agency and Water Resources Authority. It was convened to discuss, among other things, public sensitization on the proposed development of approximately 1,600 housing solutions on lands in Bernard Lodge, St. Catherine. The project will be located on the northern boundary of the Highway 2000 road reservation. In the meantime, Minister Vaz is now in Geneva, Switzerland, representing Jamaica's interest at the United Nations Trade Forum. The September 9 to 13 event is being held under the umbrella of the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. On Wednesday, the Prime Minister expressed sincere condolences to the family, friends and colleagues of former Member of Parliament Lawrence Laurie Broderick. Mr. Broderick, who was also a lawyer, passed away early in the day. Mr. Holness said the island lost another great public servant who made a significant contribution to the nation. Prime Minister Holness's week also included a few courtesy calls. First was High Commissioner for Rwanda, Valentine Rogwabiza. They discussed collaboration in areas such as tourism, agriculture, science, and new technologies, among others. The Prime Minister also met with members of the business community, Gas and Azan on Tuesday, and representatives from Digital Group on Thursday. A day before, Mr. Holness met with representatives from UNICEF and the champions from the National Reading Competition. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us again next time for more news stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.
The pocket 6,000.
6,000. Yeah. How much I want?
Yeah, man, 2 days I want.
Yeah, man, no one else. Yeah, man. Same.
Alright,
What want, cat? You don't know, I sit downtown the other day there. Oh. All the brethren, them man, we buy and sell marina. One of them I sell a 6-pack for $1,000 and the next one I sell one for $200.
So where buy?
Buy 5 of them for $1,000. Think them can't rob me.
So Uncle Fancy, is the same $1,000 you would spend to get the 6? Seriously?
Tell them again now, my math brains.
Math count.
Math count.
Sponsored by the Ministry of Education.
Mathematics is a challenging subject for a number of our nation's students. At various schools across the country, teachers are employing creative means to help pupils fully comprehend the many concepts of the subject. Coming up, New Green Primary School's Math Olympics. Take a look.
What better way to start off Math Olympics at New Green Primary School than with an informative and engaging math pageant? Miss Algebra and a host of other math concepts took the stage to remind students just who they are.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to New Green Math Olympics. My name is Miss Algebra. Algebra is a part of mathematics in which we use letters to represent unknown numbers or amounts. For example, 2 multiplied by n equals 4.
After that enlightening math pageant, there were a host of other field and classroom math events to remind students that this numbers subject can be fun.
1, 2, 3, and math is fun and I like it. Math is fun and I like it. Math on a Monday, math on a Tuesday, math on a Wednesday, math on a Thursday, on Fridays too.
It's an idea I got from 2016 when I was at a Jamaica Day in Holland Primary and I saw the students running up and down. So I say, why not do it with math? Let us have fun running up and down with math. So I started looking at some games that we can tweak with math concepts. And I sold the idea to my team and they decided to run with it.
On the day, students from Porus, Christiana Moravian, Villa Road and New Broughton Primary came out in their numbers to engage in friendly math competition.
We have several games happening today. We have students doing estimation. The estimation game is where it's a relay, so we have students, we're two members to a team. The one person will run and take the question to the other. The other will estimate, for example, 1 liter of water in a 5-liter container. And the important thing is to get as close to the 1 liter as possible. So it's not about finishing first. It's about the person who can estimate a liter. Also have equivalence game, and this is where students are expected to find equivalent fraction for a given fraction or even the decimal that's equivalent to a fraction. So again, it's a relay and it is not about finishing first, but it is about getting the correct equivalent fraction or decimal. We also have the Tower of Hanoi. That one is a problem-solving game. So the students are expected to restack 5 tires that are stacked numerically from 1 to 5. They're expected to restack it on another tower exactly 1 to 5, whereby no big numeral can go on a small numeral. So they have to think through clearly as to what is it that they're going to do, the move they're going to make.
In between the games and races, students could be seen dancing to popular Jamaican hits. By the end of the day, all were winners because not only did they have fun, they were also rewarded for their hard work.
Hooray for mathematics! Hooray for mathematics! Someone in the class up! Hooray for mathematics! 1, 2, 3, 4. What you gonna do now? Math with you!
Hooray for mathematics indeed! So you see, math can be fun, entertaining and rewarding. But don't just take it from me. Listen now as the students themselves share their thoughts on the all-math event. But the question I want to ask is, what are some of the things that you learned, or did you learn anything from today?
Actually, I learned about the liters and milliliters because that is what I struggled the most with in class. So.
It was merely a revision for me because I went through all of this during my GSAT preparation. So it's a merely revision for me to just bring back my memory.
Today was fun. We participated several times and we didn't win, but at least I won a game.
My experience today, it was great. I participated in 2 races, the equivalent race and the one you have to fill the bottle.
I would say today was epic because I was having fun. My friends were having fun and my teachers was having fun. I could say today was one of the best days of my life.
And the students were not the only ones who enjoyed the event. A few parents who gave their support on the day shared similar sentiments.
Kessica, she don't really love maths. And today, to see her take part in it, it's an excellent thing.
The students are used to sitting in the classroom doing some questions for revision, but if they're doing it having fun, then naturally it's going to be cemented some more. So I think that this is a way of helping them to retain what is it that they would have learned, thus giving us better performance on the final exams.
We are truly happy for the collaboration, and we are hoping that other regions will buy into this vision and do the same.
As the government seeks to reduce the spread of vector-borne diseases, representatives from the Ministry of Health and Wellness identify mosquito breeding sites within the home and business places. Find out more next.
We're looking for any container or anything which can hold water. It doesn't need a lot of water for that mosquito to deposit its eggs. Very shallow quantity of water they can deposit in it.
The rain has fallen and this has collected water. And if it is allowed to sit in the environment for a couple of days, the Aedes aegypti will breed on it. This is a plastic over a pail and the water is on the plastic. This is a beautiful breeding site for the Aedes aegypti mosquito. We have a similar one right here. There's water on the top of this container and the Aedes aegypti mosquito will breed in it. Once the water begins to evaporate and she has a space to lay her eggs, she will lay her eggs and this will then become a breeding site. Turn it over. We do appreciate that roof gutters are very necessary in some areas that do not have pipe water, so it helps to collect the rainwater when it comes. However, if these roof drains become blocked by trash or other things, then it makes the water stagnant and it becomes a major breeding site for the Aedes aegypti mosquito. So it's important if you have these roof gutters that you keep them clear, that the water is able to run. Even among your plants, we have plants that are, because of how the leaves overlap each other, they are able to collect water. And Aedes aegypti loves to breed in those environments. We suggest that persons do. If you think you love these plants and you want them, put them in pots. So when they do collect water, you're able to pick up the pots, drain them out and put them down. Because as it is right now, it's very difficult for us to get rid of the water and they will just continue to be in the environment as breeding sites.
This is a tire which has been discarded, but it's just in the backyard. And what we have now is apparently rainwater has now settled inside there, and we have it breeding. The Aedes are back to the breeding inside here. It can be used as an enclosure for your plants, like a potted plant situation. So what we'll show you now is how we can have it filled with dirt, that will ensure that when rain does fall, mosquito will not breed in it.
There's also a method of stacking the tires so that they will not collect water. We advise the tire shop owners to, for each tire that they get, to punch a hole in each of the tires. Once that is done, they can stock them in this plaiting form. So they have one row going in a particular direction and then another set going in the opposite direction, and they will continue with this. What this does, it allows the water to be directed towards where the hole is bored. So even if the rain comes and water goes in, the water will not settle but go out. We know that most churches have what is called a baptismal pool. And we have found baptismal pools to be a major breeding site for the Aedes aegypti mosquito. So what is it that churches should do? We recommend that all baptismal pools be covered properly so that the mosquito will not have access to it for breeding. Sometimes the pools are shaped very funny, and so it's very difficult to cover. In those instances, we ask persons to empty the pool at least once per week. And after emptying the pool, we ask that you scrub the sides to ensure that you have dislodged all the eggs. So we saw many sites that were breeding the Aedes aegypti mosquito today. And we saw that these sites were found in and around our homes, business places. And if we do not deal with these breeding sites, they are going to continue to be there, posing a risk for the transmission of diseases because they are breeding the Aedes aegypti, the mosquito. So you must take action to rid your environment of those sites. So what is it that we're asking you to do? We want you to make this a habit. Once a week, search for and destroy the breeding sites of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Just stocking up on groceries, making sure that I don't have any leaks in the house. So that's basically it.
In all honesty, I am not prepared for the hurricane season. Reason being, school has just reopened. You have 2 kids going to university, 1 in high school. Back in the days, when you purchase goods, you would purchase an additional and, put away in the barrel as grandma would advise. But I mean, can't do it this time around.
Buy up some thin stuff, some light that we can just charge or use batteries, stuff like that, and just pray to God that it don't come, because some people they are not prepared.
Hurricane season, who can just prepare themselves, just buy some food, put on the house, or fix some house up from early.
Well, I don't really have no plans as yet, but I will prepare.
Buy some supplies, you have your button up in your thing. That's also you have got to prepare. Can you not need to can do, you just have to leave it to the Father then.
We have to follow what the authorities said. You don't wait until it comes up on you suddenly.
Nothing. I not think it will come, so I not really prepare.
We've come to the end of the show, but only for today. Catch us again tomorrow on this channel. As we go, be reminded to send your feedback to jamaicamagazine@gis.gov.jm. You may also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and of course, Twitter. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.